Park. And the weekend has been agog with the commencement of the major leagues in world football. The Premier League, La Liga started last weekend, but the big hitters started playing a few days ago, from Atletico Madrid to Real to Barcelona. And the Premier League started on Friday, of course, with defending champions Arsenal hosting Coventry City under Frank Lampard to the sword, 3 goals to nothing. Well, it was expected. Coventry City, newly promoted, don't really have the roster to hurt Arsenal one tiny bit, even though Arsenal had to make do without Bruno Guimaraes, who is injured and will be out for a few weeks. They still had too much for Coventry, complete with our very own Taiwo Awoniyi, who recently transferred from Nottingham Forest. Well, Arsenal put Coventry to the sword, and rightly so. It was a very comprehensive victory for the Gunners, who have started off from where they left off last season. Of course, we know that the Community Shield was also one-sided, where they dismantled Enzo Maresca's Manchester City by 3 goals to nothing. Greek sensation Christos Zolis is doing very, very well for Arsenal at the moment, and he started brightly, and he continued from there against Coventry City, and it was a very, very good match. And Arsenal won by 3 goals to nothing. Like I said before, Bukayo Saka profited as well, scoring a very good goal. Of course, he has now scored more home goals at the Emirates than Alexander Lacazette. The English winger can do a lot better. There's still that talk, that debate that he isn't world class yet. I share that opinion. You know how the English media overhypes their players, even though there are a few world-class players that have come out of England. And right now, for me, they have two in Jude Bellingham and Harry Kane. Well, that's for Arsenal. They won convincingly, and hopefully they will want to continue in that fashion against Aston Villa at Villa Park. Aston Villa, on the other hand, were destroyed by Brighton and Hove Albion, despite the fact that they let Danny Welbeck, Van Herka, and other guys leave. It hasn't daunted them in one bit. They defeated, destroyed, annihilated Aston Villa by 4 goals to nothing. In fact, the 4 goals came in the first 30 minutes of that encounter. And Yao Gomez, who was making his Premier League bow for Aston Villa, had to be red carded, and he deserved it. That means he will be out of that pulsating encounter against Arsenal at Villa Park. Aston Villa will have to make do without Johan Manzambi, Brian Maja, and Tammy Abraham. Of course, Tammy and Brian Maja might make it just in time for the Arsenal game, but Johan Manzambi, it will be too early for the Swiss World Cup sensation. Well, moving forward, Manchester United started on a terrible note, losing to newly promoted Hull City. Our own Semi Ajayi scored the first goal and was named man of the match. It was a 2-0 reverse for Manchester United, who were without Ahmad, and it is rumored that he will be out for up to 6 weeks after succumbing to an injury in training. With Manchester United, Carlos Baleba has completed his signing. They're not officially announced yet, but the 81 million euros transfer when in Britain. So I think the whole package was about 72 million pounds, and that's a far cry from the figure that Brighton were quoting last 2 seasons, at the beginning of last season, actually, where they were demanding for the same price that Philip Caicedo had to leave from Brighton to Chelsea. All right, the Ecuadorian captain left for Chelsea for 115 million pounds. Brighton thought they could command such a transfer fee for Baleba, but Manchester United had to negotiate properly. He will be out until the middle of September at least, and may not play for Manchester United until October, looking at 3-week international window with our international break, which it always happens between September and October. So let us see how that goes. Manchester United, of course, they were toothless. They were tactically outmaneuvered by Hull City, even though Marcus Rashford came on after his first match in 600 plus days for Manchester United. Benjamin Sesko also came on from the bench. I think Michael Carrick got his formation wrong, but who am I to say so? But in my humble opinion, I think he got his formation wrong. He also got his well, he also got the choice of his players wrong as well. The Brandon Bilmo has been doing very well as a striker in preseason. He moved him to the wings, and well, I don't know the reason why Patrick Dogu is still. They are still hell bent on putting leaving Patrick Dogu in wing forward position when his primary position is left back. So hopefully they rejig and make the necessary changes before the next Premier League encounter. All right, so we'll give you the remaining Premier League results, and let's not forget that there's still one Premier League game before match day 1 is complete. Two old friends, Alvaro Abaloa and Jabi Alonso, will be playing against each other today. Fulham host Chelsea at Craven Cottage. Let us see if friendship will be put aside for the ex-Liverpool and Real Madrid teammates. It remains to be seen who emerges victorious in that encounter, because it is between two London sides. In fact, West London side. So let's see how that goes between Fulham and Chelsea. A London derby in its own right. So let's go through the remaining Premier League. Let's go through the remaining Premier League scorelines over the last weekend. And sorry, give me a bit. All right, so Newcastle and Liverpool had to settle for a 2-2 draw. The first goal was scored by Anthony Elanga before Cody Gakpo equalized for Liverpool as quickly as possible. Joe Willock put the Magpies ahead until Dominic Szoboszlai, who is the new talisman for Liverpool, had that last gasp penalty to salvage a point for the Merseyside. Like Ipswich defeated Sunderland by 2-1. Everton started on a high by defeating Crystal Palace by 2-0. Leeds went to Nottingham Forest and won 1-0. Bad start for Oliver Glasner and Evangelos Marinakis there. And Brentford decimated Spurs by 3-0. Roberto De Zerbi brought out his prized possessions, came out, and all his shiny jewels couldn't do nothing. In fact, Brentford could afford to miss a penalty. The talismanic Igor Thiago missed a penalty, and that actually flattered Tottenham. The scoreline, the penalty miss, and everything else. But Ryan Cherki, who astonishingly started from the bench, came on and had 2 important assists for Manchester City against Bournemouth as they had to come from 1 goal down. Ryan Cherki, the first assist to Maguire from a corner kick, and the second, the pinpoint assist to Josko Vardiol in the final minute. Manchester City winning by 2-1, which means that the last 4 managers for Manchester City have won their opening Premier League games. Roberto Mancini, Manuel Pellegrini, Pep, Josep Guardiola, and now Enzo Maresca. So Brighton trounced Aston Villa 4-0. We said that before. Fulham versus Chelsea today. Let's see how that pans out. We'll tell you what eventually transpired in that match tomorrow morning on Sports Grande on OJ 106.3 FM Benin. Let's move straight to La Liga, where Jose Mourinho returned after 12 years, after 14 years actually. Left in 2012, left Inter Milan in 2010 to Real, and left Real in 2012. So anyways, Barcelona made mincemeat of Elche, 5-0. All the big boys, the new signings, well, they did very well. Karim Adeyemi scored. Rafinha, when he's fit, is definitely one of the most important players at Barcelona. He scored a brace. Anthony Gordon came from the bench to make 2 goals. Fermin Lopez also scored a brace as well. So that it was a 5-goal rout of Elche. All right, so for Real Madrid, they won by 2 goals to 1. Jude Bellingham scored the first goal, and the formation was somewhat confusing, but Mourinho being Mourinho, he'll never do what you expect, even though Vinicius and Kylian Mbappe started in attack. But we saw that Jude Bellingham was in an unfamiliar left-wing position. Well, he was always drifting into the midfield because it was Valverde who is captain of Real Madrid over Aurelien Tchouameni. And I also had Ada Güler and Bernardo Silva, who seems to be the midfield mastermind for Real Madrid. So the scoreline over the weekend, Sevilla defeated Athletic Bilbao by 3 goals to 1 at San Mamés. Right, Unai Simon, the World Cup winning goalkeeper, who didn't want to concede at all at the World Cup, let 3 past him. Our very own Chinedu Ejuke was among the scorers for the Andalusian outfit. Real Betis defeated Real Sociedad by 1 goal to 0. Ex-Manchester United winger Anthony scored a beautiful volley in that encounter. Valencia had a 0-0 stalemate against Celta Vigo. Real defeated Espanyol by 2 goals to 1. SP with a last-minute winner for Real. All right, so Atletico Madrid and Villarreal played out a 2-2 draw. Right, Joe Simeone actually spared Atletico Madrid's blushes in that encounter. They still have that tussle with Julian Alvarez wanting to leave for Barcelona, or at the very least Arsenal, who, according to rumors, are prepared to offer Victor Gyökeres and a couple of euros. Well, that's putting it mildly, but a huge amount of money for the capture or the signature of Argentinian Julian Alvarez. But the CEO, owner of Atletico, as well as the chairman, have said that Julian Alvarez is not for sale. Anyway, at the Vanda Metropolitano, they could only draw with the Cielo Submarine, who actually could have won that match. They led until the 85th minute, where the manager's son, Giuliano Simeone, scored an equalizer for the Colchoneros. All right, Getafe defeated newly promoted Racing Santander by 1 goal to 0. So that's for that. That's for La Liga. All right, Rayo Vallecano, remember, on Thursday had that 1-1 draw against Deportivo Alaves. Before we go to Italy and go to France, let's go to Germany as well. We remember that the German Super Cup was played over the weekend, and Bayern Munich won that encounter by 2 goals to 1, giving Vincent Kompany his 5th trophy as Bayern Munich manager. Hasn't won a continental tournament yet. Hopefully he can win the Champions League. He reached the semi-finals last season only to be defeated or to be eliminated by PSG. So hopefully they can go 2 better, maybe reach the final this time, or probably win it all. But let's go to one of the most exciting leagues nowadays. They've commanded the big players: Mohamed Salah, Mason Greenwood, Romelu Lukaku Bolingoli, Dusan Vlahovic, and now Fabinho has also agreed to go to the Turkish Superliga, joining Paul Onuachu and Mohamed Salah at Trabzonspor. All right, so looking at what's happening or what happened in Turkey over the weekend, we know that our very own Victor Osimhen continued from where he left off last weekend or last 2 weekends by scoring another brace for Galatasaray as they are winning all their matches. They defeated Ezonspor 4 goals to 0. All right, so we're just looking at the big games. Fenerbahce defeated Konyaspor by 4 goals to 2. Marco Asensio, Muriqi, Mason Greenwood also scored a brace. Lukaku came into the fray in the second half but couldn't add to the score line. All right, so for Trabzonspor, they defeated Istanbul Besiktas by 2 goals to 1, and Mohamed Salah scored a brace in that encounter. So the Mohamed Salah has officially announced himself in the Turkish Superliga. So it's just commencing, but Fabinho has also agreed to join Trabzonspor. The 32-year-old Brazilian is going to rejoin his Liverpool teammate Mohamed Salah, former Liverpool teammate Mohamed Salah at Trabzonspor. So good stuff for Nigerian star Paul Onuachu, who will be rubbing shoulders with world-class players. All right, so let's go straight to the Italian Serie A, where, well, Ruben Amorim has started well at Inter Milan. They defeated Torino by 2-1. Our very own Samuel Chukwueze was named man of the match for the San Siro outfit. All right, so that is in clear contrast to Manchester United, who lost 2-0 at Hull City. Other games in the Italian Serie A, Atletico defeated Sassuolo by 2-1. Raspadori scored the first goal for La Dia. And other matches that took place, Juventus defeated Frosinone by 1-0. Lecce defeated Venezia by 2-0. Kevin De Bruyne came from the bench to make things easy for Napoli, who have recently won the Italian Serie A twice in the last 4 or 5 seasons. They defeated Genoa away from home by 2-0. Cagliari also defeated Parma by 1-0. Internazionale Milano, the Serie A defending champions, routed Monza by 4-1. Turkish superstar Hakan Çalhanoğlu scored a beautiful goal. Zelinski, Petre scored as well. Esposito and Jan Bisek all scored in a 4-1 rout of Monza. That's for the Italian Serie A. Udinese and Como played out a 1-1 draw. Good stuff for our very own Maduka Okoye, who had a very good performance against Cesc Fabregas's side. For Ligue 1, the French league, Rennes and PSG played out a 2-2 draw. Of course, Rennes, they were leading 2-0 until Ferran Torres was introduced by Luis Enrique. The new signing from Barcelona scored a brace to spare PSG's blushes. All right, so Monaco won 1-0. Lille defeated Angers by 2-0. Olivier Giroud, former of the Arsenal parish, previously of the Arsenal parish, previously played for Chelsea, previously also played for AC Milan. It's going to be 40 next month, but doesn't seem deterred at all. He scored the first goal for Lille, who are also going to bid Ayo Buabi farewell after a €100 million deal was agreed with Manchester City for the 18-year-old Moroccan, who will be moving to Manchester in the coming days because the fee has been agreed, and he also bid farewell to the Lille fans yesterday. All right, so that's for that. Other results, Olympique Lyonnais defeated Toulouse by 2-0. Malik Fofana scored the second goal in that encounter. So that is for the French league. We've talked about the Premier League, the German Bundesliga. We said that the curtain raiser of the season was played, and the Super Cup was won by Bayern Munich deservedly. Nathaniel Brown, who recently signed from Eintracht Frankfurt, scored the first goal for the Bavarian outfit, and Michael Olise added a second until Bayern Munich. Borussia Dortmund halved the deficit in the second half, but that wasn't enough to prevent Bayern from hoisting another German Super Cup. So attention shifts immediately to next weekend, where the German Bundesliga will officially start proper. For tennis news, Coco Gauff defeated her very good friend and fellow American Jessica Pegula in the final of Cincinnati 6-2, 6-4 to hoist her fourth of such series, her fourth 1000 Masters title. Let's not forget that among active players, Serena Williams, who is now active, has won 23 of such. And let's give you the record. Let's give you the wins for all the women who have won the most Masters 1000 titles in among active players. I know that Venus Williams has won 9, Iga Swiatek has won 12, but let's make it official. Let's be sure of what we are saying. Serena 23, Iga Swiatek 12, Arina Sabalenka 11, Vika Azarenka, who is nowhere to be seen in the tennis circuit nowadays, 10, Venus Williams 9, Elina Svitolina 5, Coco Gauff 4, Jessica Pegula, who was defeated yesterday and it has lost so many finals in her career, but just reaching there is an accomplishment in itself. All right, Mira Andreeva has won 2, Amanda Anisimova has won 2, Elena Rybakina has won 2, and Jasmine Paolini has also won 2. Belinda Bencic of Switzerland has won 2. Bianca Vanessa Andreescu has also won 2. Naomi Osaka has won 2, and Karolina Pliskova has also won 2. For the men's Cincinnati final, Frances Tiafoe lost in 3 sets to Arthur Fields. They split the first 2 sets until Arthur Fields won the third in a bagger. 6-love in that third set for Arthur Fields. So the 22-year-old Frenchman has won the Masters 1000 final. Finally, for France, the last time a Frenchman won the Masters 1000 was Jo-Wilfried Tsonga in 2014 in Canada. So that's it in preparedness for the big one, the US Open. Remember that Yannick Sinner will not play the US Open after withdrawing due to a persistent knee injury which prevented him from playing at Cincinnati and Montreal. Since he won Wimbledon, he hasn't really featured much. Very good stuff for these guys. Anyways, we are going to give you the new WTA top 10. Nothing has really changed. Arina Sabalenka, 8,575 points. Elena Rybakina, 8,141 points. Jessica Pegula, 7,265 points. Coco Gauff, 6,704 points. Mira Andreeva, the French Open champion, 5,433 points. She has moved 1 position to 5th from 6th. And Linda Noskova is the new world number 6. We remember that she won Wimbledon, defeating her compatriot Karolina Muchova in the final. She has 5,028 points, and Karolina Muchova is world number 7, 4,933 points. Iga Swiatek is down to world number 8. Very unfamiliar territory for the Polish 6-time Grand Slam champion, 4,809 points. And Elina Svitolina is world number 9 with 4,689 points. Amanda Anisimova is world number 10, completes that list with 4,533 points. For the WTA top 10, Yannick Sinner is still in a clear lead with 12,800 points. Alexander Zverev is second with 7,790 points. And Carlos Alcaraz, the 7-time Grand Slam champion, with 7,160 points, is world number 3. And Felix Auger-Aliassime is 4th, world number 4 with 4,640 points. Novak Djokovic is 5th with 3,770 points. It's amazing that he's still in the top 10 at the age of 39, having amassed a world record 24 Grand Slam titles. All right, Flavio Cobolli, French Open finalist, Cincinnati semi-finalist, is world number 6, 3,710 points. Alex de Minaur is world number 7, 3,650 points. And Daniil Medvedev is world number 8 with 3,580 points, has dropped 1 position down to 8th. It was world number 7 before Cincinnati commenced. And Ben Shelton has dropped 3 positions to world number 9, despite winning Canada last week, and he has actually amassed 3,480 points. And Taylor Fritz completes the list with 3,475 points. So attention shifts immediately to the US Open, where Carlos Alcaraz and Serena Williams have announced that they will be pairing in the mixed doubles, and they'll be playing as quickly as possible. It is Alexander Zverev versus and Felix Auger-Aliassime. We gave you that mixed doubles pairings a few weeks ago, and we are sure that before that it commences proper, we'll also be reeling it out for the benefit of those who weren't listening the last time that we said it. All right, going straight to transfers before we talk about Formula One. Let's talk about transfers. We've let two out of the bag already, telling you that Fabinho has accepted to go to Trabzonspor, joining Mohamed Salah, Paul Onuachu, and co. Carlos Baleba is already a Manchester United player. It's just pending the official announcement. Well, delay is not denial for Manchester United, and the Cameroonian Leeds United are preparing a new loan bid for Mikhailo Modric. Let's not forget that Modric was recently cleared to come back to football. The Chelsea winger will be looking for a soft landing. I do not think that he will be able to start or command a starting berth at Chelsea, but it remains to be seen. Never say never. All right, Newcastle have made big progress in talks to sign Nico Gonzalez. Manchester City looking to ship out a lot of players. Omar Mamouche has agreed to go to Tottenham on loan. Also with a condition to buy outright permanently 50 million after the loan deal has elapsed. All right, so key days ahead for Nicholas Jackson, who is set to leave Chelsea, but only on a permanent deal, no loan. Aston Villa in daily contact with all parties involved, because Oli Watkins refused to play for Aston Villa against Brighton at the weekend because he wants to move to Al Hilal. And Al Hilal have also signified interest, in fact, strong interest in signing Gabriel Martinelli, who has been phased out by Mikel Arteta. Surplus requirements now at Arsenal, looking to go to Saudi Arabia to join the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo, who scored his 977th goal. 977 career goals. He scored the 977th at the weekend for Al Nassr. Came from the bench to score the 4th for Al Nassr. That's the story of probably the greatest player of all time. All right, so Al Hilal have also made official bids, club-to-club contact with Arsenal for Gabriel Martinelli. All right, and he's poised to leave Arsenal. There's no hindrance whatsoever, no obstacle. He can leave Arsenal, but for the right price. Arsenal insisting on 60 million euros for Martinelli. So let's see how that goes. Because if Christensen, Somerville could leave for 62.5 million, why can't Martinelli leave for around that figure or even more? Newcastle manager Matthias Zeisler has confirmed that Lewis Hall will not join Manchester United. No chance, no chance. Well, that's how some of these coaches say until the reverse is the case. Ayo Boadi, the 18-year-old Lille midfielder, is scheduled to fly to Manchester today to join from Lille. All right, the fee has been confirmed to be 95 million euros plus 5 million add-ons. The entire money is going to Lille, really. That's a lot of money. All right, deal currently off between AS Roma and Inter for Brazilian winger Luis Henrique. All right, so that deal is off. So many deals have actually failed during this transfer window, so it isn't a surprise. Camille Grabara has agreed on personal terms with Bianconeri, waiting for green light to join as new backup goalkeeper. All right, finally, Juve will solve that problem. It has been one issue or the other, from Zion Suzuki to Dibu Martinez. They eventually got Vicario from Tottenham on loan, and they're looking for a backup goalkeeper. Di Gregorio, of course, has been deemed surplus to requirements at Juve, and Luciano Spalletti is the one making all the decisions there. The old lady Anthony Gordon, who made an impression at Barcelona yesterday after coming on to create 2 goals, has said that the debut has been an absolute dream. Barcelona and the city is amazing. The people are so friendly, and everyone at the team has welcomed him very much. I do not think that you will not welcome someone who was recruited for 80 million euros. You welcome him. You have to welcome him with open arms. All right. So Fermin Lopez has said he had a very, very difficult summer due to an injury. So he wanted to start the season well. How not? I don't think any player started better than Fermin Lopez in any of Europe's top 5 leagues. He scored a beautiful brace for Barcelona yesterday. Rafinha said he's ready to help and play even as a number 9 if Barcelona cannot get an out-and-out striker in before the transfer window ends. Rafinha can deputize in that position. He's a versatile and very intelligent footballer at that. He said he feels comfortable on the pitch, no problem. Then if a new striker joins on us, he leaves that to Deco and the club. Let's not forget that Deco Anderson de Souza is the sporting director and decision maker in terms of transfers at Barcelona. All right. So Rafinha said the spider celebration was for his son. Right now he's into Spider-Man a lot, and he did it for him. Good stuff, remembering your family. Hansi Flick has said a new striker at Barcelona is something that he has been discussing with Deco. They've got Hamid Abdelaziz, the Egyptian 18-year-old, on the bench, but I do not think they can rely on him throughout the season. They've got so many competitions to play, and they are the defending La Liga champions, in fact, twice consecutive La Liga champions. So they've defended it for the last 2 seasons. Let's see if Real Madrid and Jose Mourinho have other ideas this season. All right. Anyways, Hansi Flick has said he hasn't told Alejandro Balde to leave. Manchester United will be looking elsewhere if Luis Hall of Newcastle doesn't join them. Alejandro Balde has been top of the list to replace Luis Hall in potential transfers from Barcelona to Manchester United. All right, Hansi Flick has said Gavi's injury is in the knee, that they have to wait. All right, knee injuries aren't easy to wriggle out of. Palermo have agreed a deal to sign Mattia Peron as new goalkeeper from Juve. Juve shipping off in order to welcome new guys. RB Leipzig have reached a verbal agreement to sign Christopher Nkunku from AC Milan. Let's not forget that Ruben Amorim has told him previously that he is not going to be part of his plans, and he's got to seek a new destination. He's going back to familiar surroundings, as RB Leipzig and Christopher Nkunku have had a good relationship over the years. I think Leipzig, the club, Nkunku has shown the brightest in his career thus far. Documents are being exchanged now after a deal in place for a 3.5 million euro loan fee plus buy option clause slightly under 30 million euros. Nkunku wanted Leipzig, and club both clubs have agreed a deal in principle. All right, Alan Mutoro has gone to Shakhtar. The next deal set to be agreed for 5.5 million euros plus 1 million euros add-ons. The defender joins from Genoa. Remember that Genoa played over the weekend, and it wasn't such a good result for them in Serie A. Well, all right, Espanyol are closing in on a deal to sign Brian Zaragoza from Bayern Munich. Details being discussed on an initial loan deal with buy clause. Zaragoza has said yes to the move. Espanyol, upon losing to Real Madrid, are looking for reinforcements in order to at least do very well in La Liga. All right, so Diego Simeone has said it was a club decision to not let Julian Alvarez go over with his teammates to greet the fans. So they're looking at handling the whole the whole debacle professionally before it gets out of hand, which is good enough for Atletico Madrid. All right, so Yeah, let's see. Others, Salah scored the brace. Enzo Maresca said 1 week, 8 days to go, something will happen in the market. Yes, Boadi has come. They're looking to add other players. Let's see. Rodri left for Barcelona, so there's that space for Boadi. Nico Gonzalez is about to leave there as well. So let's see what goes on at Manchester City. Now, Emery has said Watkins refusing to play. He cannot answer the question. Only Watkins can. Watkins wants Al Hilal move, and he agreed personal terms since. And talks between clubs continue. So because you want to leave for Al Hilal, the Aston Villa that you've played for and defended its bad for years, you decided against playing for them. Well, I don't know how these players think, but yeah, good for them. All right, so Omar Mamouche and Savinho have left Manchester City to sign for Tottenham on permanent and loan deals, respectively. All right, so we said that before. Tottenham reached a verbal agreement with Manchester City to sign Omar Mamouche. Verbal agreement done on initial loan with buy clause to become mandatory under certain conditions at £50 million. Mamouche said yes to Tottenham many days ago. All right, so that's for Manchester City and Omar Mamouche. Atletico Madrid president Enrique Cerezo on Julian Alvarez and Barcelona. What I consider is that Barcelona wasn't up to the circumstances and didn't do what is normally done in this kind of situation. I do not know what went on behind closed doors, but Enrique Cerezo is adamant that Julian Alvarez will remain at the Vanda Metropolitano at least for this season. Atletico Madrid president Enrique Cerezo has said after a fairly complicated summer marked by incessant questions about Julian Alvarez, the fact that he's an Atletico Madrid player, he's always been an Atletico Madrid player, there was no intention of selling him. All right. After defeating Manchester United by 2 goals to nothing, Hull City reached a verbal agreement to sign Mohamed Ali Cho. They agreed terms on a 13 million fixed fee plus high add-ons. So OGC Nice as medical have been booked for the 22-year-old French winger. I'm sure he will be raring to go, and the motivation will be that my new club just defeated Manchester United by 2 goals to nothing. So why won't I leave for this club that defeated a whole Manchester United? I'm sure that's what will be playing on in his mind. Not in mind, but I think that's what will be happening there. Because yeah, some of these players, or most of us, are sentimental. Actually, well, Erling Haaland has been scoreless now for 2 games, very unlike the Norwegian hitman, one of the purest goal scorers in recent history. He hasn't scored in 2 games. The alarm bells are ringing, but don't let them ring for too long. Erling Haaland will definitely score. Has been the serial Golden Boot winner since he arrived into the Premier League. Is already a member of the 100 goal club. Phenomenal player. We saw him at the World Cup. Your first World Cup, he scored 7 World Cup goals. So just utterly amazing, really. So he's got a new haircut. I don't think that's newsworthy, but yeah, the Haaland, that hair is no longer there. So, anyways, more on transfers before we go. Balde, Marc Casado, and Hector Fort were not in Barcelona's matchday squad for the Elche match where they won by 5 goals to 0. Well, a couple of news outlets are spinning the narrative that they may not be counted upon or relied upon by Hansi Flick for this new season. So, well, it might just be a speculation or an assumption. An assumption, they say, is the lowest form of knowledge. So, we're not sure about that yet. I will give you concrete information on that as events unfold. Harry Kane on new contract at Bayern. Well, they'll talk, and hopefully it's a no-brainer. Harry Kane will definitely sign a contract renewal at Bayern. Forget the fact that he's 33. He's one of, in fact, numbers wise, he's the best striker in the world and a shoe-in for the Ballon d'Or. Heavy favorite to win the 2026 Ballon d'Or, the highest individual honor a footballer can ever be bestowed upon. So I think Max Bell, Kaya Hells, Rummenigge, Uli Hoeneß, and the entire Bayern hierarchy will definitely be fast enough. In fact, they have to make it quick in order not to lose Harry Kane at the end of this season. Even at 34, he will still be able to do wonders at any other club. Give them the last 2 or 3 years of a phenomenal goal-scoring career thus far. Thankfully, he is now adding trophies. When he was at Tottenham, he was scoring for fun, and trophies were few and far between under Mourinho, under Conte, under Mauricio Pochettino. Now under Vincent Kompany at Bayern with Michael Olise, Luis Diaz, Josh Kimmich, Jamal Musiala, and the others. He's doing very well. And this is Manuel Neuer's last season. Bayern Munich will have to look for a new goaltender. The veteran goalkeeper will be hanging his gloves at the end of this season. All right. Well, he has said it could be his last one. Let's see, or whatever he has been saying. But I know, or I think that at 40, he should definitely hang his gloves. But who knows? Goalkeepers age like fine wine. Remember, so many goalkeepers, as they age, they get better. Edwin van der Sar, Peter Cech, Jorge Campos, Jose Luis Chilavert, Rogerio Ceni, Dida, a lot. So Dino Zoff, Lev Yashin, we can be going on and on and on. Gordon Banks, Peter Shilton, David Seaman. Yeah. Anyways, Manchester United and Brighton have exchanged all documents are signed for the Carlos Baleba deal. All right, so Real Madrid are not the only club in talks to sign Spanish talent Sergio Martinez from Racing. Bundesliga and Premier League clubs are also keen. Roberto De Zerbi said they are not a team yet. All right, well, Tottenham, they're not a team yet. They've signed players for 92 million. They signed Sandro Tonali. They signed Matthias Fernandes, Van Hecke. They've signed, and they've also signed Savinho for 75 million pounds. They've also gotten Omar Mamouche on loan, initial loan, and with the mandatory option to buy for 50 million pounds. So if you are not a team yet, well, he probably has a point. Maybe they need a couple of weeks or maybe a couple of months to gel. But what were they doing during preseason? Because they started their transfer activity early, right? So, but yeah, I think there'll still be some form of trust in the man called Roberto De Zerbi. Carlos SP has said he's the happiest man in the world after scoring the winner for Los Merengue against Espanyol and hugging the great Jose Manuel Felix Mourinho. All right. Anyways, Leo Messi and Inter Miami not having it so good in the MLS, getting battered week in, week out nowadays. Nashville, Toronto, so many clubs are, of course, getting maybe their share of the national cake that Inter Miami are actually sharing at the moment. Jose Mourinho has said he likes Carlos SP. He also likes, they live together at the Valdebebas. At the Valdebebas, he's a very funny guy and all of that. So, well, Jose gave him a big hug after scoring the winner and ensuring that Real Madrid left Espanyol with all 3 points. All right, AS Roma have reached verbal agreement to sign Jaden Osterwolde from Fenerbahce. Fenerbahce definitely need to let some players leave after welcoming the likes of Mason Greenwood, Romelu Lukaku, Nathan Ake, and others. Club-to-club agreement in place on loan with buy option clause around 18 million euros. It could become mandatory under certain conditions. All right. So, well, that's basically it for transfer. We'll definitely let you know because the transfer window is definitely nearing its end for this summer. But as clubs scamper and try to deal in the last days, we will definitely let you know. Let's move on. Let's see what's going on in Formula One. And if time permits, we'll also tell you straight away what to expect in basketball. Um, well, there was a race yesterday at the Dutch GP. As for lovers of Formula One. Sorry. So for the Dutch GP, Lando Norris actually won that race, and the race leader Andrea Kimi Antonelli was second, and George Russell completed the podium. Lewis Hamilton was fourth, and Charles Leclerc was fifth in that race. All right, so Oscar Piastri was sixth, and Lawson seventh, Nico Hulkenberg eighth, Fernando Alonso, the legendary Formula One driver, was ninth, and Pierre Gasly was 10th in that Formula One race, the Dutch GP. So Andrea Kimi Antonelli didn't win that, Lando Norris did. And let's tell you the Formula One drivers standings at the moment. So right now, tell you straight what's going on in terms of the Formula One driver standings. All right. So for the Formula One driver standings, we shouldn't be surprised. We told you the last time before the Dutch GP, the driver standings. So let's give you the latest after the Dutch GP. Who is ahead and who is behind? Okay, so Kimi Antonelli is still number one with 242 points. George Russell is now on the same points with Lewis Hamilton. The Brits has joined his fellow Brits. They are joined second with 183 points. That's how many points behind Kimi Antonelli? That's about 59 points behind Kimi Antonelli. All right. So Lando Norris is fourth. He won the race last weekend. He's fourth with 159 points, and Charles Leclerc is fifth with 155 points, just four behind Lando Norris. And Max Verstappen, who is having an atrocious season thus far, has 112 points. Definitely not the season he wanted. He's not doing as well as he thought he was gonna do this Formula One season at the moment. But never say never. Next season he might come out all storms or all raring to go. Let's see how that goes. But for now, it is Kimi Antonelli leaving no stone unturned and leading the way. Thank you very much, guys, for today's Sports Grandeur on OJ 106.3 FM Benin. Still remains Ohis Eboreme. Stay safe. Remember that nobody can make you feel inferior without your consent. Enjoy the rest of your day. Cheers.